Okay, I guess we're broadcasting. I don't know what's happened to the TV. Of course, you don't need them, but I just wonder what happened. They never came on. Okay, Monique, the schedule will be out soon. We went through it and proved it a couple of times. I know accounting classes you will like probably advanced and auditing. How about that computer application to business? Accounting application, we're using QuickBooks. Information systems, have you had that? That's just QuickBooks. And I guess Mr. Taylor will be helping us next fall. And let's see, if you had managerial accounting, you had that. So you and you'll have your taxes over with and so on. So, but Mr. Imo, Mr. Taylor will take care of you next year. Okay. All right. Jonathan, Clayton, Cole, where are you all today? We're only here 2 days a week. Terry always live stream. Savannah always live stream. Hillary, haven't heard from you in a while. Let me hear from you. How's it going? All right. We are on a chapter on standard cost. We can't stay around with it forever, but we can't leave it without most of you understanding it. If you were here, it'd be better, but you're not here. We got to move on to a couple other chapters. We're going to do that soon. We're going to move on to budgets and so forth. Okay, so we're in chapter 7, trying to do some wrapping up to it. Monique, did I give you any problems today for chapter 7?
Yeah, 37, 41, 44, and 56.
37, 41, 44, and did I not give you a comprehensive problem for a bonus also?
Yeah, 58.
58 is your bonus, in case some of y'all out there didn't hear that. All right. We're going to try to look at those probably first. 37. That's 4 overhead variances. First off, I'm going to go back and look at a couple. Let's go all the way back to 27. Were these assigned before? Was 27 assigned before, Monique? All right. I want to go back and look at 2 or 3 just in class today. Now I want to clear up direct labor variance. I want to clear up journal entries is what I want to clear up. The favorable entries or the unfavorable. All right, let me try to find some solutions here. And I want you to look at number 27, and hopefully by now you can do a labor variance, actual times actual, standard times standard, and standard times actual. So we got a rate variance. Now this is 750. Anytime you have this situation, Monique, divide the hours into the dollars. You paid $8.05. Standard was $8.05. And $8.05 trying to find out what they would go with. We should be able to multiply by something over here. And get to 5,500 difference. All right, but that's a labor rate variance. Now, the actual hours, 1,000. That 1,000 times, no, that times that 805 won't do it either, so that won't do it. But B, your rate variance and your labor efficiency variance, let's look at those together. 805. Now, the difference here is 55 cents. So 55 cents times 10,000 will also give you that, okay? And then over here, 1,000. $8.05 times 1,000 will give you this for you. Okay, but I want you to look at the journal entries. What are we debiting work in process for here? Which one are we putting in the work in process, Monique? I wish this thing would write. We're putting in standard times standard, aren't we? That'll be your work in process. Now, which variance was unfavorable? The efficiency variance? We debit unfavorable variances. And we credit favorable variances. Now, wages payable has to be actual times actual, don't it? All right, wages payable has to be actual times actual. Work in process is standard times standard. And then we fill in the two. So please review that journal entry. All right, we work the same thing with materials. And we're going to look at 28 briefly. All right, they did this one a different way, which is okay. Monique and all you people that may be viewing. All right, labor efficiency variance is 5,000. Labor rate variance is 8,500. Now remember, the favorable we credit, the unfavorable we debit. Work in process is standard times standard. Right here, standard times standard is 87.5. That's your work in process. Debit your unfavorable, credit your favorable. The wages payable is actual times actual. This has to be actual times actual right here. Okay, now from there we led ourselves into, and there's plenty in here to practice, and those solutions are on Moodle. So Monique, I'd like for you to do number 31, to hand in on Thursday. 31, I want you to hand it in, Monique, and everybody else who are watching. Now that's labor and material variances with journal entry. Please do those, everybody, and hand them in or email them to me on that day. It will either be a bonus or it'll be 5 points off your test. Now from there, we worked up to overhead. And your first problem today was 37. So we're going to pick up on 4 overhead variances. Now, look at number 38, 3 overhead variances. We're going to look at 38 today also with 37. Did you happen to work 37, Monique? We won't spend a lot of time on it, but I want everybody to see what it looks like. Now 37, 4 overhead variances. The scrap manufacturing company set 70,000 direct labor hours as the 13 capacity measure. If you go on and look at that level, budgeted overhead was 315. And if you keep reading on, budgeted fixed was 140, based on 3,900 machine hours. And then on March, Kemp incurred 5,900 direct labor hours and 300 machine hours. And actual variable and fixed overhead are given. And the questions are, using the 4 variance approach, determine the overhead variances for March. All right. Now, what are our 4 overhead? What are the 4 overheads here? Okay, we had actual variable overhead. We had budgeted variable overhead, 5,900 hours times 450. And we had applied overhead, which was 450 times 5,980. All right. Now here we have spending variance of 225. And we have an efficiency variance of 360. Both favorable. Did you get that? Both of those? If you add them together, you get a total variance of 585. Now this is variable, right? Variable. All right, now we do fixed. All right, budgeted. Well, actual was 11.4. Budget was 140,000 divided by 12 months, which is 11.7. So that's 300 favorable. And applied was 36 times 290. Okay, that's also favorable. Unfavorable, sorry. If you add them together, you get 960 unfavorable. So what are the 4 variance method? 2 for variable overhead and 2 for fixed overhead. Did you get these answers also? Good. All right. Now, how about journal entries for those things? We put in the variable overhead control. We debit fixed factory overhead, and we credit various accounts. Work in process, we credit here variable overhead 26,910. We credit fixed overhead. Now, what does that give us? All these variances. All right, these 2 were favorable. Debit variable overhead control, credit to favorable. I thought one of these was unfavorable. One favorable. But here, volume variance, debit, and then credit your fixed overhead variances. All right. Now that was the 4 budget method. I want you to look at the 3 budget method real quick. Now here, we're doing 1 overhead spending and 1 overhead efficiency, and we're doing a volume. So we're not doing 2 variables and 2 fixed. That was the 4 method. This is the 3 method. Here you take your actual overhead, your budgeted overhead, and then you budgeted that standard. All right. And then take your applied 290 at 23,920, and the difference between your budget standard and your applied is your volume variance favorable. This between your actual budgeted standard is your efficiency variance. Then over here's your spending variance. I'd have to read that to know where the 20,000s are coming from. All right, that was number 37. Now we'll go up to number 41, which was assigned. Okay, assume that taken together, the variances are believed to be significant. Prepare the journal entries to close the variances at your end, around any necessary calculations. Now, we've got all these debits here to raw materials, work in process, finished goods, inventory, cost of goods sold, material price variance, debit. Now, if we debit that, Monique, that'd have to be what, favorable or unfavorable? The price variance, if we debit it, it'd have to be what, favorable or unfavorable? Unfavorable. And if we credit the materials quantity variance, it's favorable. And if we credit labor rate variance, it's favorable. And we've got a debit and labor efficiency variances, which is unfavorable. Okay, now that exercise, you look at it, material variance is 14.5. What you have to do here, take your balance, work in process, finished goods, cost of goods sold, you got 1,464,000. Now your allocation, your percent of total, 5,698.80. Monique, if you got a calculator, try multiplying 73.2 by 5%. Whoa, wait a minute. Where did 725 come from? Was that given? No. Okay. Wait a minute. 5%, no, not 5% of 1,000,004. Take 5% of 73.2 and see what you get. Same thing. You got what, 8,000? Okay. All right. We're going to figure out something else. All right. We'll do this allocation and then credit materials price variance because we're taking those out of inventory. Before we just didn't. Now, all other variances, okay, this is your materials quantity variance and your labor rate variance, and credit your labor efficiency, work in process, finished goods, cost of goods sold. Now, I'm okay with all that, but Monique, we got to figure out where these figures come from. All right. Now, we can see where the 73, the 82, the 131, and the 1171 comes from. They're given, right? Now, try to divide 73,200 by 1,464,000. 73,200 by 1,464,000. That gives you the 5%. That's no problem. So these percents, you know how to get those. Now, if you would, divide 725 by decimal 0.05. All right, 14,500. That's this total. But where does that 14,500 come from? Was it given? Yes. Materials price variance. So if you take 14,500 times 5%, you get to 725, right? Take the 14,500 times 6%, you get to 870. Just want everybody to know where those numbers come from, and I want you to know myself. Okay. All right, so please check number 41 and review it if you want to. Now, all other variances, we'd have to do the same thing, percent of, and make sure it adds up to 15,350. But I wanted to get to number 44. All right, 44, this is appendix materials variances. All right, determine the materials price, mix, and yield variance. Now here you got a couple of new terms, mix and yield. These are in the appendix, which you should have read. So let's see what number 44 looks like. All right. Here we got pecan, 6 ounces, $6 a pound. Cashews, 6 ounces, $8 a pound. Actual quantity and cost for production of 36,000 cans. Pecans, so many pounds at 580. So that's going to be a favorable variance. Cashews at 772 pounds at 850. That's unfavorable. And determine the materials price, mix, and yield variance. The price variance should be pretty easy. All right, now how do we find the total pounds used? 50% pecans, 50% cashews. 15,552 comes from where? That's given. And the 12,726 is given. That makes the 28. That's the pounds used. Now that mix, what percent is that? Pecans. Divide 28, I guess. Divide the 15,554 by the 28. That's 55% pecans, 45% cashew. But now where does the 28 come from? 28 to 80. All right, when you did what, Monique? Okay, you had to multiply, didn't you? Total pounds used, okay. All right, now standard quantity is 36,000 cans times 12 ounces, divided by 16 ounces to see what the standard was, and it'd be 27, but we used 28. All right, then you had your actual price of pecans, your actual price of cashews, standard price, mix, and quantity of pecans. All right, you got to look at this process on this one. Now, this one is not used that much. That's why I didn't spend a lot of time with it. But show you can be done. The price variance here is 3,252.20. The mix variance is 28.28 favorable, and your materials yield variance is unfavorable. Did you get those answers, Monique? Did you? Okay. Not going to spend a lot of time on those three variances. I probably would not give those to you on the test. 56, I'm assuming it's also from the appendix. One, two, and three variance approaches to overhead. Well, we did a 4, we did a 3. Look at this 1, 2 real quick. All right, your instructions on 56, number of units manufactured. No, that's wrong one. Calculate variances using the one variance approach. All right, here you're just going to take what? Actual overhead and applied. Is that all you did, Monique? Take the actual applied and get the difference. You got 22,350. That's the one technique. All right. B part, calculate using the two variance method. Now remember, this is overhead. Variable overhead, fixed overhead, actual, budgeted at output, and then applied. Here you're going to have standard times standard. You've got applied and you've got budgeted, which is similar to standard times standard. Okay, so the two here was the budget variance and the volume variance. And the three budget method was a spending variance, efficiency variance, the volume variance is the same, 6,000 favorable. So did you get those variances, Monique? Good. I hope everybody has worked those like Monique has. Now 58 was comprehensive, and I'll save that and let you turn it in. 58 needs to be turned in Thursday. That may be part of your test. So we're going to move on to another chapter. And hopefully everybody can find some time to attend class. Hopefully everybody's better out there. All right, for half an hour, we're going to look at budgets, which is our next chapter. I'm going to see if I have a PowerPoint on this chapter. It would help. Monique, you're there looking. Can you find PowerPoint cost accounting in this mess I'm looking at?